This is episode number 563 of the InnerFight podcast. Thanks a lot for tuning in, folks. This is another episode of the show. As always, we are brought to you by Smith Street Paleo. Please do hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com. Check out everything that is going on there. All the various meal options. If you guys don't want breakfast, but you want lunch, dinner, and a snack on a meal plan, you can have that. You can have it delivered to your office. You can have it delivered to your home. I don't care. You can have it delivered to the middle of the jungle, as long as it's within reason. Anyway, you get my point. Hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com. Check out what's going on. Drop them an email, hello@smithstreetpaleo. See exactly what they can do for you. You might have some requirements. Bounce it off the guys over there. They'd be super happy to help you out. Back with another show. This is a Sunday show. Nice short version. It's entitled Stop Making Excuses. Yes, that's it. I know we're still early in September. It's not long gone by. We're coming to the third week of September now, 22nd of September. And everything I said at the start of the month in those shows, all about non-negotiables at the end of August. And also there, which show was it? I've got it here. It was on Back in the Game 557, which actually went out on the 1st of September, just to get you guys fired up for September. September is the new Jan. It's a marketing ploy. Not really, but it's true, because people do come back. And as we spoke about in that show, people do come back from summer, and it's like a reset time. Same as people start the start of the year and reset. Anyway, enough of that. How are you getting on? We're 3 weeks into this thing. We're 3 weeks into September, which means we're, 13 weeks before the end of the year. You've got some goals that you've set for this year. Have you achieved them? How are you tracking? Or, like a lot of people, and there are a lot of people, are you out there making excuses? I want to sort of dig in a little bit on this show as to why we make excuses. And I think that's a really important and a really interesting place to start. We're actually making excuses for two reasons. And I think the first reason is to try and justify, because we make excuses to other people, we try and justify the behavior to ourselves. What we're then doing is we're vocalizing it, so we're looking for support and for genuine buy-in from those other people into our excuses, and for them to sort of tap us on the back and go, yeah, mate, that's okay. Yeah, do it tomorrow. You didn't do it for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Remember, we're 3 weeks in. You didn't do it for the last 3 weeks, but do it tomorrow and you'll be fine. So we're looking really for a little bit of comfort in our actions. Now, sometimes that's okay, but a lot of the time, come on, seriously, if you set out a goal in September to train a little bit more, to get to the gym a little bit more, no matter what it was that you're going to do a little bit more of, or you're going to itch your way towards that goal that you've set, then is there really an excuse? Should there really be an excuse? That's my thoughts on it. Like, what should get in the way? Hop back to that show. I'm going to get the episode number again, non-negotiables, creating non-negotiables, episode number 555 that I put out there in August. If you have decided that this goal is the most important goal to you and is the most important thing that's happening in your life right now, why on earth are you making excuses and putting it off or letting other things get in the way? So the first thing, what I believe that we're doing is we're just airing it just to get it off our chest, and we're looking for some buy-in from people, for someone to tap us around the shoulder and say, it's all good, mate, don't worry that you couldn't do it, don't worry that you're a lazy ass and you just stayed in bed. I think that's absolute nonsense, but it's exactly what's happening, and that's what we need to be careful of straight away, because so many times people will just turn around, and because they're weak as well, they'll turn around and go, yeah, mate, it's cool, don't worry about it. If someone turns around to you and says to you, it's okay that you didn't work out this morning, or it's okay that you ate crap food or drank too many soft drinks, coffee, alcohol, whatever it is, despite your goal being not being able to do it, and you've got a friend that's saying to you that that's all right, that you can do that, you've got the wrong friend. Or you've got a friend that doesn't genuinely have your interests at heart, especially if you've appointed that friend or you've asked that friend to come into your support network and to help you out. I spoke a lot about support networks in previous shows, and definitely in those other two shows that I was talking about there. The ones before, we spoke about the Open last week, which was all about getting back in the game and creating those non-negotiables, 557 and 555. That support network is important, and if someone is listening to your excuses and saying, yeah, buddy, it's okay, then that might be the wrong person. Second thing I want to go to, and I'm going to come back a little bit to that, but I want you to be comfortable to people in that you don't need to justify yourself all the time. And what that'll do is that'll cut out that excuse that you're giving to that person. What I mean by this, and those of you that have been on the show for a while, yes, we've done over 500 episodes, you might have heard me say this before, is that you don't actually need to justify your actions to other people unless they really are a close mentor or friend who's helping you in your support network for that goal. What you need to make sure you can do is you need to make sure you can look in the mirror and you can justify your actions to you, to yourself. And that's the most important thing going on here. It's nonsense most of the time. Most of the time, we're actually just making up bullshit excuses. We're saying to someone, yeah, sorry, I couldn't turn up for that run this morning. My alarm clock didn't go off. I'm sorry. I've had a... I'm going to get fired up here. I've had an iPhone for, I don't know, 10 years now. My alarm clock has not, in those 10 years, has not one time not gone off. It doesn't happen. It hasn't failed me at all. Sometimes, not for me, but for other people, you might have set an alarm, but you forgot to plug your phone in or the power wasn't there. You just haven't made sure that it's charging and your phone's gone flat overnight, and therefore the alarm hasn't come on because your phone doesn't have a battery. But your alarm hasn't not gone off. The second thing on iPhone alarms is you don't sleep through them. They're loud. And if you've got it on the right setting because you want to wake up, you want to get to that run or get to the gym, there is no way that that alarm is not going to wake you up. Now, again, on that, you could have woken up, you could have hit it, and you could have just realized that it's a little bit too hard today and you don't really want it enough today, and you'd have gone back to sleep. That's exactly what happened. But don't turn around and say to someone, sorry, I couldn't make it to the session this morning. My alarm didn't go off. I know, and you know, and everyone around you knows that that is absolute bullshit. It just doesn't happen like that. So don't feel, we do it, we say it the whole time, and we say to people, yeah, my alarm clock didn't go off. We know that you're lying. And in many, many situations, we know that it's not the truth. It's an excuse. Excuses, for the main part, I would say 95 to 99% of cases, are absolute lies. And it's where we've just made stuff up. If you're unable to train in the morning because of a legitimate reason, be comfortable in yourself that you don't have to justify it to someone else because you know that legitimate reason. The legitimate reason could be that you had to work late last night. That had to become a priority, and you're going to do your training session at the end of the day. You don't need to make an excuse. You don't need to justify it. You're very clear in yourself, and you should be very comfortable that you just couldn't make it. Give that person a heads up. You know at 11 o'clock at night that you can't make it to that session. You're kidding yourself. If it's a 5 o'clock in the morning session, you're absolutely kidding yourself to think that you're going to make it if you're only finishing work at 11 o'clock, bed by 12:30, sleeping 4 hours. We've spoken a lot about sleep. We're going to speak more about sleep as it becomes more prevalent as we dial into the end of the year. You don't need to think that you're going to get there. Just tell them at night, I'm not going to make it. I'm working late. That's way better than making an excuse afterwards. I can absolutely guarantee you. It also helps that person stay genuinely bought in to what you're doing because you've not let them down. And this is something that I feel super, super strong about. At the same time, if you've got those non-negotiables that we were speaking about the other week and someone invites you to something, you just have to say no. You don't have to say no and make up an excuse. You don't have to say no and lie, make up an excuse. You just have to say no, I can't make it. You can apologize. Sorry, I can't make it. A lot of the time for me, I'll on the spot say yes or no. Yep, I can come, or nah, I'm not going to be able to make it. Because I know if it's Friday night and I've got training early Saturday morning, there's no way I can afford to be late to bed that night because my training session starts at 5. And this is something that I'm seeing more and more and more. With the non-negotiables and with excuses, we're kind of justifying or looking for justification for our behavior. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to be comfortable inside. You have to stop giving people all of these excuses. Every single morning when you wake up, you're going to jump in the shower or you're going to jump out of the shower. The only person that you have to be straight 100% with, the first checkpoint, because if you get it right on the first checkpoint, you're going to be straight with everyone else, is the person that you see in the mirror. The person that you see when you're stood there with no clothes on. And this is an experiment I do. Not an experiment, but something I do with people a lot. When I first start working with them, I'll turn around and say, okay, I want you to go home tonight. And it's weird, don't worry. And again, those of you that listen to the show for a long time will remember this from a couple of hundred episodes ago maybe. I'm not sure I've used it recently, but go home tonight. Get naked, stand in front of the mirror, and make a pledge that you're going to be honest to yourself. Then start having a look at your body. How do you want to look? Then start thinking how that's going to make you feel, because that's the person you have to justify. Then, when you've done that, you're not going to make excuses anymore. You can go on any platform. You can go on Google. You can go on absolutely anything, any form of social media, and you'll find great excuses. You'll also find, for the most part, not very strong evidence, but you'll find a little bit of evidence to support your nonsense argument about why you can't do something, but it's just an excuse. That's really all I've got to say for this show. It's a short one this week, but I think it's really important. You don't need to be making excuses. You need to be comfortable in yourself. Be honest with that person you see naked in front of the mirror every single day, and you're going to do awesome. Thanks a lot for tuning in. That has been episode 563. Have an awesome day.